The old Appalachian woods had a sound of their own, one that breathed, whispered, and sometimes called. Locals in the small town of Boone Hollow said the trees sang at night, but only fools or outsiders stayed to listen. Evelyn Carter had never believed in such tales. A 32-year-old wildlife photographer from Charleston, she saw myths as stories people told to make their fear feel important. When National Geographic offered her a solo assignment to document rare wildlife migration sounds in the Blue Ridge area, she took it without hesitation. By the time she reached the mountains, dusk had already painted the forest in deep purple hues. She parked her old Jeep by an abandoned ranger station and started unloading her recording gear. The place felt frozen in time, moss-covered shingles, a rusted water pump, and a faint smell of rain and pine. She set up camp about a mile into the trees, right by a clearing where fog clung to the ground like silk. That first night, she heard it, the Appalachian call. It was a low, harmonic hum, almost human, rising and falling like breath. She thought it might be a type of owl or nightbird. She placed her recorder toward the sound and smiled, knowing it would make for great footage. But when she played it back through her headphones, she froze. Beneath the natural tone was something speaking. A faint, layered whisper that seemed to form her name. Evelyn. She ripped the headphones off, heart pounding. It must have been wind interference, she told herself. The forest was ancient. Sound traveled strangely here. Still, she couldn't shake the unease. The rest of the night was silent except for the occasional creak of branches. The following morning, she hiked deeper, noting strange carvings on the trees. They weren't initials or hearts, more like runic patterns or warning marks. Each one was carved freshly, sap still bleeding from the grooves. The deeper she went, the stronger that eerie hum returned. By noon, she came upon an old wooden cabin she hadn't seen on any map. The door hung crooked, and the air smelled of wet earth and rot. Inside, she found a few relics, glass jars filled with what looked like teeth, feathers tied together with human hair, and a dusty notebook on a table. The cover read, Songs of the Forest. Inside the journal were hand-drawn diagrams of the forest and symbols she'd seen on the trees. Some pages contained phonetic transcriptions, lines of repeated syllables. Hala. Eva. Lynn. Her blood ran cold. Her name again. That night, she set up another audio recorder near the cabin and decided to film a video log. Her camera shook slightly as she spoke. This is Evelyn Carter, Day 2 in Boone Hollow. The locals mentioned something called the forest calls. I thought it was a myth, but the sound frequencies I've recorded are unnatural. There's modulation, like multiple voices harmonizing. And I keep hearing my name. As she replayed the night's footage later, she noticed movement in the fog behind her. A figure, tall, pale, and barely distinguishable, stood near the tree line. She paused the frame and zoomed in. Its mouth was open as if mid-song, but the eyes were hollow, black pits. The next day, Evelyn searched the ranger station's records. She found an old newspaper clipping pinned inside a desk drawer. 3 hikers missing in Boone Hollow, last heard mimicking strange forest sounds before vanishing. Locals believe the forest sang people away. Those who followed the voice were never seen again. Evelyn wanted to leave, but curiosity chained her. The journalist in her needed the truth. She returned to the cabin one last time at sunset. The forest was unnaturally still. Not even the wind dared to move. As she crossed the clearing, her recorder spiked. The frequency meter blinked erratically. Then came the sound, the same haunting harmony, only louder, clearer, more human. It surrounded her from every direction, echoing through her skull. Evelyn, come home. Her breathing quickened. She turned in circles, trying to pinpoint the source. Then, she saw them. Figures emerging from the fog, dozens of them, thin and translucent like ghosts stitched from mist. Each one moved rhythmically, their lips forming silent words that somehow still echoed in her head. She stumbled backward, camera still rolling, and screamed into the forest. Who are you? The answer came, layered and slow. We were called. Her equipment began to malfunction. Static, white noise, distorted voices. The figures circled her, closer, closer. Through the haze, she saw faces, some young, some wrinkled, some wearing modern clothes, others from another century. Their eyes were empty, but mournful. They looked like they wanted to speak, or warn. One stepped forward, a woman in a torn 1800s dress, hair matted with dirt. Her voice, clear and melodic, said, "You shouldn't have listened." Evelyn turned to run, but the fog thickened, pressing against her like wet fabric. Her flashlight flickered. She fell, cutting her knee on a rock. As she tried to stand, something cold brushed her cheek, a hand made of vapor. Join the song. The last thing she remembered was that harmonic hum filling her chest, vibrating her bones until everything went black. 2 weeks later, a search team found her Jeep, but not Evelyn. Her tent remained untouched, equipment scattered. The only clue was her recorder, still on. When the investigators played the audio, they heard what sounded like Evelyn's voice, singing softly along with a chorus of others. Hala, Evie, Lynn. The last note lingered before the tape ended abruptly. Today, hikers still report hearing her voice echoing through Boone Hollow, calling softly from the fog. They say if you follow it, you never come back. The forest doesn't just sing, it recruits. And if you listen long enough, you'll hear her whisper, "Come home."